I don't like it.
So
You don't like anything good.
I don't like anything.
All right,
why don't we just go?
all right.
So, how's it going, everybody?
Not bad, not bad. We are currently doing the podcast in my home. All four of us in the same place. This never happens.
This is actually the second time we've done an on-location one.
Yes. The
The first time was in Palm
million years
Springs.
The first time was
It
like
was in Palm Springs.
The
Palm
first-
Springs.
Palm Springs.
the first time was with we just had the camera sitting on your kitchen table.
Yeah, this time we have my super cool Blue Yeti microphone in the middle of the room.
Sponsor.
Recording the whole room. Yeah, honestly, Blue Yeti, get behind it. You sponsor us, and any game we produce will have a Blue Yeti.
I don't
Yeah.
think they care about games at Blue Yeti. I'm sorry.
I don't care if they
How
care
do
about...
you how do
know
you
what
know?
they do care about?
What?
Money.
How-
We have none of them.
Now,
Yeah.
Shut up.
how do you know that they aren't sitting there going, "Why don't gaming groups talk about our microphones?"
Because
How do you
they
know?
designed their microphones for sound recording for like music.
Which is also used for podcasting.
It's true.
So, by the way, Fearless Gamers, I want you all to appreciate what we're doing right now because we are in a room with no air conditioning. We've turned off the fan to avoid the white noise, and it's about 1,000 degrees
Above
in this room.
above absolute zero.
So
Yeah.
if you know,
Is that
so
how
my
Celsius?
falling off.
so that's why
Hybrid.
this podcast
Oh
may
my
be really
goodness.
short because we'll be like,
Celsius.
Right, if I start to drown in my own sweat, I'm going to turn it off.
Okay.
gotta.
One thing
Get
I'd
this
like
out.
to... Oh, yeah, let me put my phone on silent. I
Yeah.
would like to say, right off the bat, I do like this better than doing it over Skype. Because Skype always has that weird lag.
Yeah.
Here, it's like, I know that I'm responding in time.
But are you?
You're not.
Dun, dun,
I kind
dun,
of like
dun,
doing it
dun.
in Skype. I just think we should get webcams. No, we should.
Well-
no one needs to see us.
Well, the only
Yeah, well,
issue.
no one needs to,
no
no
one
one needs to see me the way I am when I usually podcast.
He's usually not wearing clothes, gentlemen.
I'm
and ladies.
usually in my room by myself.
Yep.
We'll just leave it at that and let
Yeah.
the viewers fill in the details.
Yeah.
In a diaper.
What? You know what? I don't want to know.
He's in, yeah.
No, it's my that's my raid gear.
Raid gear? I hate you. So,
So how's everybody been?
We're
Pretty good. We got ourselves a new game.
We
recently.
did. We're
What
gonna look
game?
at that in a minute.
Dreadfleet.
Oh right. Yeah, you guys are gonna.
what did we do?
He immediately forgot.
What have we done?
The reason we're all sitting in the same building and same room right now isn't because we want to do a podcast together. No, we hate each other.
Yeah, no,
No,
like
it's
that's
to do
the
this
biggest.
other thing.
That's the fearless secret is that we all hate one another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you think we're never in videos that often together?
Why do you think we don't leave drinks open around each other?
Yeah.
Huh?
Huh?
Like
So they can be drugged. I
Right.
think that's what he was getting at.
I'm going to give
Yeah.
you Rohypnol.
No, you're not.
He is.
He's gonna give himself Rohypnol.
No, he's going to give you Rohypnol.
He already has.
Well, you know.
That's his thing. That's what he does.
It's the only way to get me to shut up.
So wait, I like that apples.
That's how I sleep at night.
Another cool thing is I went to my local hobby shop, as I normally do,
Well, I would hope so.
and the store owner just came back from Gen Con. What are these faces that
Oh
I'm
yeah,
getting
we also have a wild. Are we allowed to use her name?
here?
A wild Elena in the room,
Yep.
making faces at us
There
as she
is-
plays Tomodachi Life.
Yes, because there's no camera to be used. She plays her 3DS.
She's doing everything she can to distract us.
Anyways,
Well, not
you were-
everything.
and so-
she
Guy
can.
went to Gen Con. What did he
So-
bring back from Gen Con? And why didn't you get anything from him?
Was
Get
that
back
Gen
on
Con?
task.
The game store owner went to Gen Con.
Okay.
Everyone likes Gen Con.
Forge World was at Gen Con,
Okay.
and they had those. You know how they always make those con-only minis?
Yeah.
Well, they brought a bunch of them to Gen Con,
Okay.
and he was buying them up.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, to kind of catch a conversation like, what are these Forge World boxes?" And he
Right.
went, "Oh, these are the Gen Con models. Do you want one?" And I went, "Do you have the Navigator?" And he's like, "That one was sold out, but it's on the way to my shop." And I was like, "Can I get that?" And he's like, "Sure, it's yours when it comes in."
Cool.
So
That's how you got that.
so I'm
I
gonna
don't
get
even know what
that.
that is.
I'll show you a picture. It's gonna be used mainly for the Dornport videos.
Okay, cool.
It's basically a model of the dude that navigates
Jeff
the ship
Bridges?
through
Yes.
Yes.
Yep,
it's a model
navigates
video.
the ship through the warp.
It's those
there it
three.
is.
It's the three
Yeah,
eye freaks you're allowed to have.
whoever does the voice for that guy has to do their best Jeff Bridges.
I don't even know how to do it.
But so yeah, so whenever we have someone going like,
First you gotta take him to
take
dinner.
us to subsector, his character will pop up and go, "It shall be so."
And that would be all they say ever. It would just be the one line over and over again.
Because they're
Well, see, that's it. We'll pay Jeff Bridges and just loop it.
Navigator, it's too dangerous to go through there. Well, that's just, like, your opinion, man.
The Duke abides.
those dudes were allowed to live, but imprisonment on a ship.
Yeah, because their third eye kills people.
Yeah, but it also lets them see things. But it's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
That's the best. That's the best part is they always, whenever they walk around, they have like a hat or like a Renji rag over their head so their eye doesn't kill people.
Well, that's always good, you know.
That is thoughtful. It's thoughtful to cover up your part of you that kills things.
It's thoughtful to cover for your
Frankly, that's
grotesque
why-
third eye.
That's why I wear pants.
And it's funny, it kills almost everything, and yet they always tell them to stay on the ship and never use them.
Because they're really frail otherwise. They're
Yeah,
frail
that's
and they're
true.
all inbred, so they're all
Like,
about to die.
so far,
And if he gets off the ship and he dies,
Just
then
like-
you're
a
you're
good
not going
thing,
anywhere.
I've read a couple of fluff like novels, and the Lion was the only one who ever used one as a weapon.
He was one, and one of the old stuff back when GW didn't really have their act together as far as what they wanted to do with this with 40K the series. They had a navigator basically do that, but the navigator was in a relationship with with an astropathic psyker, and she's like, "Show me your third eye," and it was really weird. And
Sounds a little weird.
it was, but eventually, spoiler alert, he kills her because she kind of goes crazy. But,
Looking into the third eye.
Well, no, not even looking to the third eye. He just kind of goes crazy afterwards.
Fearless Gamers, I have a request. In the comments, I want you to show me your third eye.
This
I want to
is
see how that turns out in the end.
this is going to end up as bad as that 7-Eleven, that 7-Up commercial.
Huh.
Which one?
There was this
I don't
one
even think I
with
wanna know.
the guy that does the who did the make 7-Up yours shirt. He had another one where it was like, I'm making a new campaign. It's called Show Me Your Can. I want you to take a picture of you with the can enjoying it. But I think people got the wrong idea, and all the pictures are people showing him his butt. And at one point he's looking at me and goes, this one looks like 2 holiday Christmas hams.
I like
And
butts.
It ends with, what? Bob!
I like butts. Yo, Fearless Gamers, show me your can.
That's a lot of no.
No.
Please don't.
It'll be like that. It'll be like that one guy who took like the pictures of him kneeling next to all the butt cracks at that Magic tournament.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That was fantastic.
I have friends who like are really like they're not happy with that guy. They think he's kind of a for doing it, and they're not necessarily wrong. But I can't help but laugh.
No, it's funny.
just so
It's funny. On a
Man.
side note, I want to tangent to actual game things, but James was about to say
No,
something.
so, instead of tangent to actual game things, because we're gonna forget the hipster. What we're gonna do is talk about how it's not wrong for me to do that because wear appropriate sized pants to fit you. If it's not gonna fit you well, or if you realize, hey, my crack is showing when I sit down to play Magic, wear a belt. Do something.
you
Belts
know-
save lives.
You know,
It was
the
like that episode
original...
of Man Show, Crack Spackle.
Yep. Regular and Oprah size. You know, I read somewhere once that originally the whole having your butt crack shown was a sign for prisoners to know that they're available.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
that's
That's
the
the pants
the
sagging.
The
pants
pants
sagging down past your underwear thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no like confirmation on whether or not that is. I haven't checked Snopes. Fearless Gamers, check Snopes for us. Put it in the
That's
comments.
pretty much that's pretty much a prison thing for like communicating without going, hey. So
Hi, boys.
So you're telling me what do
What's our segue now?
What do inmate horses eat? Hey.
So segueing from that, Copernicus.
I don't get why Copernicus is funny.
It just is.
It was
It just
out
is.
of the blue. You just said
Copernicus. Where did you pull Copernicus?
I've been doing that for
Is
a
he
while.
the original hipster?
Yeah.
Is that what you're joking about?
Sure. I mean, but nobody knew about it. So
Well,
who
you know,
knows?
He was a hipster
He-
before it was cool.
he was into the heliocentric model before it was heresy.
All right, so
Did you
Anyways,
just try to
I need
segue
you
this
to
back
open your
into a
mouth so I'm gonna stick
40K
my toe
thing?
in it.
No. Anyways,
We're gonna go
you were speaking
full
of Magic
Quentin
tournaments.
Tarantino.
I'm gonna ignore you. Magic
Tarantino.
tournaments. They're doing some big changes to Magic.
Really?
Yeah, but
you
Magic has
told me
been getting
about
like as far as aside from evolving into a living card game, which is you got to do to survive.
Yeah.
Magic has been getting really lame. Like you can't mana burn your champagne anymore.
Yeah, I love Mana Burn because Mana Burn suck. Mana Burn is just you spend too much mana. You
now,
use
you
your
know-
resources wrong, you get screwed.
You know what
Yes,
it's like? It's like
that's,
kids who
that-
don't understand how like repercussions for things. Like they just seem, why can't I just do this? Because there's repercussions. Why can't I just spend 15 mana?
It's like-
to get something for 5 mana?
It's like when I was in a fencing class. This guy was a theater arts major, and fencing counted as stage fighting for the major.
Sure.
Which makes
And-
sense to an extent.
Yeah.
I started showing him, you can't, you got to do this, but you can't do this. And he's like, well, why not? That looks so and grandiose. And I'm like,
Well, that's why.
this is
That's dumb.
This is a tournament, but why wouldn't you be able to swirl and throw your opponent off? And because it's against the rules.
Because he would just
But
stab you.
why? Because this isn't freaking Shakespeare. We're not trying to impress them.
Like-
We're trying to win.
You want to
Also,
kill
the
some
bigger your
dude on-
move is, the more likely you're going to get stabbed.
Yeah.
You want to kill a dude on the streets? Do whatever you like. But right now, you are in a tournament setting. There
Yeah.
are rules.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just
But,
it's the same reason you can't bring a friggin' grenade. It's against the rules.
Yeah, way back when fencing first came about, we're like, but I got this grenade, right? No, it's not allowed, but let's put it in the
but
FA
why
class.
wouldn't you bring
Everything's
a
allowed in
grenade?
FA. Let's put it
It's allowed in epic.
So,
Everything is allowed in FA.
So-
Why
But, like-
wouldn't you bring a grenade?
But
though?
that's the thing that really I enjoy playing Magic casually, and when I
Mm-hmm.
play with my friends, we mana burn because
Yeah.
mana
Yeah.
burn is a thing. It was a whole tactic.
We were
There
brought
was-
up with Mana Burn.
There was
That's how I was raised.
when when I was it was
When
funny.
I was your age, I couldn't
But-
spend 30 forests to play a single bee. I would lose the game.
You would have. But anyways, that's not the big change. That's been around for a while. The
I
big
know.
change is to get rid of the core set.
Yeah, but which is fine.
It
I
makes
mean,
sense.
Yeah.
The
It's
core
just
set,
like
no one would really buying anyways. It's like, just for beginners, I'll get it because maybe there's one good card. Now they're just doing two sets in a
That's
block,
how
and
it's
they're doing
been
3 blocks in a
since-
year, which is...
since Urza block, that's how core's been.
Yeah.
Core's been when you're just starting. Yeah, sure.
You
get
do it
core,
for the mana.
because you get a big block of 75 cards in a box. There's a decent amount of mana in there.
Yeah.
But core is always like back. When Birds was in it for a while and took
Mm-hmm.
it out and whatever happened with that. But it's just like you get it. You're looking for this, and this comes from core. Once you get what you need from there, never buy core again. And then you go that way. So it's always been that way.
And
Yeah.
it's probably cheaper in the long run to just go online and buy the individual card.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they're like, okay, so we're going to get rid of core because that's what people use it for. So they're doing 3 sets a year instead of 2 sets in core. And they're doing 2 sets in a block instead of 3 because they want to make the storyline faster. I'm doing air quotes.
Yeah.
Because they want to tell more stuff faster.
And also core
Make more money faster.
was becoming so inflated because what
Yeah.
they would take every so often, like once a year, they figure out when we do core, we're going to take some of the really popular or like maybe / underused or whatever it is cards, and we'll put apart a core. So now core is like you got a 1 in a bajillion chance to get the card you're actually looking for when you buy it randomly. So it
Right,
became
right.
too inflated.
Also, core was coming out... Originally, core didn't come out every year.
Yeah.
Core came out after like every 2 sets. It was like an every other year thing. Now that core is every year, it was like, we really don't need to do this constantly.
I actually had an interesting experience with Magic recently. I got my niece into the game. That was when you guys
Why
helped
would you
me.
hand a crack at a crack?
You guys helped me build her deck. There was that zombie deck that you guys built. When I said I need a deck.
I don't remember doing that.
Yeah.
But okay.
I believe you. I just don't
I brought
remember.
you. I think I forget where I brought you. Where we met, but I brought all my cards. And it was like she needs a deck.
We met at Hofstra.
No. So. And you guys helped me build a zombie deck for her because I think I had a lot of zombies. And she got her brother into the game. And he's like, Uncle Matt, I brought my cards. You want to play? And I was like, oh yeah, sure. So I go upstairs and I get my my green
It's like
deck.
giving Robert Downey Jr. cocaine.
And he comes down, he goes, yeah, my deck is a balanced deck. And he pulls out a deck this big.
That's
And I'm
about
It's like the
1,000
legendary.
cards.
I'm
It's
like,
like the legend.
I sat there and I was like, you have way too many cards. No, it's a balanced deck and I can do whatever I want. No, this is the problem. You can't do what you want because you have too many cards. And he's like, but it's a balanced deck. No, it's not a balanced
That
No,
deck.
it still could be balanced if he has the proper amount of mana
No,
in there.
he doesn't.
Okay.
And
Because
it
I have
was-
seen a deck that size work. when we used to go to the long box, every now and again we'd play Magic there, and Jamel had what he called the Legend. And it was a deck about that size. It was well
we need
over 100
verbal wording for that because you're doing hand motions on an audio.
It was
cast.
like a few hundred cards. It was okay. It was about as high as my prep. It's like hot dog high.
Yeah.
Like
That's
not one of the short hot dogs.
How about
like
a soda can?
It was higher than a soda can.
A little
It was
taller
like
than
a
a
soda
soda
can and
can.
a half to 2 soda cans. It was big.
Okay.
It's like hot dog size. Hot dog for scale. And he called it the Legend, and it was one-on-one. It was garbage for the most part. He could win one-on-one, but that was rare. And it was rare that we played one-on-one anyway. But he could win. But whenever we did friggin' group battles, he won almost every time. Because we'd go in and be like, all right, he brought the Legend, we need to be afraid. But you could never anticipate what that thing was going to spit out. To this day, none of us saw everything that was in there.
And so I was trying to explain to him how the deck, the problem with your deck is you're never going to get what you need to cast what you have. Yes, you may have a bunch of cool, awesome combos, but here, we'll play a game, and I'll show you just how...
Yeah, generally that doesn't work.
And
he
I
wiped
sat
the
there...
floor
And then he
No,
won.
the
I was
thing
really
was
hoping it
he was
turned out
drawing nothing but he was drawing nothing but spells and characters, no mana.
Right.
So he kept discarding, and in 3 turns I beat him, like, you see? And then I broke down his deck and helped him build a deck.
A deck of that size
deck like that,
really
you need, like, a
only
lot of
works. It works in a weird, like you're making a weird multiplayer deck, and the only time it's competitive is when they had that. If you have more than 250 cards as enchantment, you win in your library. So it was a lot of like, it was a lot of like search the library for card
Yeah,
play.
if you have a lot of
scenario.
search cards and stuff.
And
like
I love because I have my pure artifact deck is a mill deck because I love milling. It's my favorite way to
that.
win.
I hate getting milled.
It's my favorite way to win in Magic, and somebody literally played with his like basically their collection. It was like it was in a shoebox basically. That's how the deck was, and I'm like just play it. Don't stop shuffling. Just play it. We're gonna be here all day if you shuffle.
Yeah, that's why I stopped
And then,
him from doing. I'm like, you're going to take forever to shuffle this
And
thing.
then
Well, that's part of what made it screwed him.
and
Didn't let him shuffle properly.
I milled
He
him.
cheated.
I milled him ridiculously. Like I was able to get all those cards milled. I love milling decks like that, but big decks don't work. That's why Magic has the like minimum of 60. It used to before they had a minimum, people were playing 40 card decks to win. But
Well, one
That's
of
the
the
problem.
earliest
Funny- well, the biggest
game
problem-
winners was only, I think, it was enough for a hand and then like 4 more cards. And it was just
biggest-
rats, and it won in like 3 turns.
The biggest
it was only like a 12
issue
card deck.
that he had with his deck was like, say if he had a lot of high cost blue mana cards, he only had half of the blue mana he needed to cast his blue cards.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you see the problem here?
I was online as I often am, and I saw this one thing, and I couldn't help but read it and laugh because there was people complaining about Magic, but it wasn't what you would complain for. People going mana burn was no fair versus mana burn
Is fair.
should be there, and deck size and legends and then ban versus restricted and all that stuff. No, they were complaining because they felt the undead creature type was too broad a spectrum because it was everything from skeletons to vampires to like ghosts. I'm like, that's your complaint. That's your complaint.
Wait a minute. A categorization
Of zombie. It was using zombie for undead.
of undead,
Is zombie.
which comprises
They want
of
it more specific.
skeletons, zombies,
Yeah, but,
vampires.
but the thing is, it's not like undead categorized. It's only categorized as zombies. So they're like, you can't. This isn't a zombie. And it's like, if they classified it super, really in depth on that, you would never have a deck that would gel together because, well, that white's not a zombie, it's a spirit, so I can't play it in my zombie deck. Well, that vampire is not a zombie, it's a vampire. So if I play a creature type vampire, then the vampire can't react well with the other undead because it doesn't say zombie, it says vampire.
Right.
So, I'm like, this is your... It was funny because it had a fair amount of responses to it where people were kind of like... Some people were like me going, Are you
dumb?
Are you dumb? Are
You
you
dropped
kidding?
as a child.
And other people going, you know what? Yeah. Like, no, don't start this.
Don't
bandwagon.
encourage this man.
Don't feed the troll. No.
We have enough creature types in Magic already.
There's so many creature types that the problem with the fact that there's so many creature types is there was a time when you needed flash flood warning. All right.
Where?
Did we all just get that? Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Did we just
I
all
didn't.
get that?
Yep.
Let's see.
I didn't.
Well, flash flood
Why
warning.
did you get a flash flood
For
warning?
there's a flash flood warning for the flood areas. Like, so it goes stay out.
Flash
of the
flood warning. This area till 6:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Avoid flood areas. Check local media.
You heard it here first,
Oh.
those gamers. If you never hear this, it's because there's a flood, and I don't know how you know that because you never hear this.
Um,
Certainty.
But you hear this
wait.
months
My
later
favorite part of this
after
is
my laptop has been recovered.
certainty. Likely. Likely is probability of approximately 50%.
Yeah, I like servers. I love that stuff. But so there were decks based around the strategy of changing creature type. In fact, one of my decks is blue green, and I take this one thing that produces cyberlings, and I artificial evolution it to go to wizards because it's a wizard deck.
James, I need to stop you for a second. What are you laughing at?
She made a face.
Yeah.
That didn't expect.
What was the face? I need
What's
to
the
see it.
face?
It was a bleh.
Okay.
But
See.
carry on.
Continue.
But so it goes from Verdant Force instead of making cyberlings, he made wizard for me, and then I had unlimited countering and ways to mill things and just do things that way. So that was easy for me. It was one thing. But then if people used to have a tactic back when changing creature type was a big thing, where they would have a printout of all the creature types available in Magic, and they go, all right. Because they would pick one because if you played a certain creature type, I can't pick that one because then it also helps you.
Yeah.
If I'm trying to harm something, I can't have my creature type be. It was basically a couple of decks that were popular, not some tournament. It was like hurt any type of creature type, buff any type of creature type, and it was things. So you would pick the really oddball ones that nobody would have, and
Like
also
squirrel, goat, and
squirrel isn't very oddball. Squirrel's
Squirrel's
very
common,
hard hitting,
but goat's pretty rare. Sheep's pretty rare,
Elephant?
and I can't remember the name of the. It's like a construct. I think construct is only one
construct,
card.
yeah. But then there's some other stuff. But
There's no piggy.
a lot of people used to just pick
There
Hydras
should be.
There is now.
because nobody played Hydra decks.
Yeah,
Because those are really first off, there really isn't many Hydras around.
there's only about. I think
and
there's
the
only 5
and the
6
true
Hydras.
Hydras, the quote unquote old school ones that were actually cut off the head and two more shall come, haven't been made in a long time. But that's the problem with the creature types is there's about a bajillion of them, and you want to break down zombie to be skeleton, spirit, vampire, lich.
Oh, and there's already
Bleh.
spirits and vampires, but you
No,
know
there
you
isn't.
mix up.
Vampires or zombies.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
No, there's vampires.
No, vampires are zombies.
Yeah, no, most of my zombie...
Innistrad, the vampires are vampires.
No, there are
It's creature
vampires
type.
are zombies. If you look at some vampires.
Yeah, most
out
of the
there.
cards that I
There may be
have, they were
vampire
say
lord, but
vampire
there's also
zombie.
You've made the hipster take out his iPad. Congratulations.
Yeah, but
But there is a vampire type now, though. They're not.
it
just
doesn't matter if
zombies.
there's a vampire type now. There's been a vampire type forever, but they just make them zombies.
Sometimes
just like
they
make
count.
liches zombies.
There are some
Yeah.
vampire
So it's
cards
just
that
like
count as zombies.
you says in their creature thing zombie, and it happens. So it doesn't matter. But it's just you don't want to break things down. Then it's like, well, this is a wood elf. It's not just an elf. And then you punch somebody. You know what they want them to bring back? Mermaids. Merfolk, really?
Merfolk came.
No, they didn't.
Came
They
back
never
once,
came
but-
back.
They were around in Lorwyn. They tried to
I
make
want,
a thing.
I want a white merfolk.
There was.
No, I want
Why's
like,
everything gotta be white with you?
because it's always blue, and I want them to stop being so sad.
No, dude. Do you not remember Lorwyn? They had the Stoneybrook Angler, which was blue, but they had white and blue Merfolk.
Yeah, but I don't want them to compromise.
I'm confused.
I also want like
He wants them to just
I
be
also-
pure white,
or, like,
not
I want like
blue
a red
white.
merfolk.
No, there
Be
are
like-
just white ones.
Yeah,
like,
I
there
want-
were
yeah,
two
Merfolk.
colors there.
I just want merfolk to be everywhere, just like slivers are.
Slivers suck now. I'm saying
They
it.
never were good. Come on.
Yeah, but now they changed it that slivers just help slivers on your side of the field, and that reduces half the fun of playing slivers.
No, it doesn't. It makes it so all the whiners would go like this raid and WoW is too difficult to stop whining. It's like, but now my sliver deck can win against another sliver deck because slivers buff slivers.
That was the best thing about slivers. They helped all slivers regardless of what side
And it wasn't
they're
just
on. That
slivers. It was
great.
also like creatures say all elves when it's an elf, or
Yeah.
like all bats.
Well, that still happens, but slivers now just say slivers you control. Like the new slivers have it printed, written that way.
now is that retroactive to
No.
other slivers?
No, all the like the new slivers.
Like
in,
it's not part of sliver. It's not like part of the sliver creature type. You know.
Yeah,
like,
no. In the 2014 core set, the slivers that they put in there because they brought slivers back in there, it was like all slivers you control gain something. Did the
Uh-oh.
computer just go off?
Uh-oh.
His computer went blacky screen.
Okay,
It's still
we're
recording.
Yeah, we
We're
were
still
still
good.
recording.
Yep.
How much battery power do I have?
How long have we been recording for?
About 50
1,000
years.
It's just over 25 minutes.
Oh, not too
About
bad.
And I got
50.
2.5 hours left of this nonsense.
Yay!
I'm not plugged. My laptop's not plugged in because all the plugs are too far. And my cord is too
yes,
short.
That is that. But
And she's giving us like the most like she's like sitting there going, when we leave, you're not going home. You're going to be dead.
it happens.
It does happen.
Like, why are you giving me such a meanie look?
Oh my god, let's not have this happen
Anyways.
on the podcast.
Yeah.
Anyways, so what else is there? Magic done.
Speaking of magic,
is never done.
speaking of magic,
That's the best part of
I
Magic.
just finished installing Lichdom Battle Mage on
Which
Steam.
you can thank me later, even though I never played it.
I'll thank you later if it's good.
No, even if it's bad, I want you to thank me later.
Okay, I'm excited to play it to the point
What is
where I
this?
almost... It's a game on Steam where basically you are a wizard of some kind, and you... Apparently it has like super good spell customization, like you build your own spells and...
Yeah, it's basically the mage game people always want when they play a mage in something, and it's kind of like it's almost like a first person shooter type.
It's
thing.
first person
Yeah.
caster. That's,
That's
what they,
what
that's
they
how they
call it.
describe
It's
it.
first-person caster, and it's got-
which I think is great.
And it has some type of customization thing in it, and it's always looked interesting to me. I just never had the time to get it, and I'm not. Where
I'm excited to play it. I was hoping it would be finished installing so I could have played it before the podcast to actually say, is it good, is it bad, is it acceptable? But I will say it looks promising enough to the point where when I saw it finished installing, I almost called you people and said, no, I'm sick. I can't podcast today.
Yeah, like it's very enticing. Now, what's not very enticing
YouTube.
is Sacred 3.
What's that?
I own Sacred 3. Sacred was a
I heard Sacred 3 was pretty bad.
The Sacred series was great up until 3. Here's a problem. Sacred is, think of it kind of like a Diablo. Diablo
All
2.
right,
I like
like a
Diablo
Like the
2.
game.
Like a dungeon crawler.
Yeah, but you have different classes of stuff, and you can do. And the cool thing about it is they introduce combo chains, where you put your abilities in this combo chain once you get an appropriate level, where you can unlock these combo chains,
Alright.
and you click it, and you do like your character just goes through the slew of abilities you have in the combo chain, and just destroy everything. And it was fantastic, and it was very open in the fact that it was almost like an open world Diablo 2 in a sense. It's still that
Like an
that
open
perspective.
relationship.
Yeah, it was still that forced perspective of it, but like you could go to town, like you know where your quests were, but you can get all these side quests, and then you don't even have to do anything. You go, screw it, I'm going to go this way until I can't go this way anymore, and you can do that. And all the different classes have a different starting zone to get to the main town in the beginning, and you
Okay.
can visit them as the other classes and just loot all their stuff. Because, in RPGs, you loot things. You just bust down people's doors and go, let me see what's in that barrel. And then,
I'm going to break all your pots.
I'm going to break all your stuff and I'm going
And
to keep
take
it.
all your monies.
Right.
While you're watching, and you're going to just go,
It's your fault for-
But,
It's your fault for storing your money in your pots.
so then, like, Sacred 2, which was kind of like more of a expansion type thing or whatever for Sacred, came out. And it was cool again. And then Sacred 3 just took everything that he did good with Sacred and it said, nah,
No.
nah.
We're going to put this in a box. We're going to lock the box. We're going to take the box. We're going to put it in another box. We're going to fill that larger box with cement, and then we're going to throw the box with the box and the cement in the river.
And, like, it's basically meant
And
to
then hit
be
it with a hammer?
something
No,
console-y.
leave it in the river.
Partially console-y. Like, in the sense that that's how it plays. You can,
What's wrong with console?
Well, I'll tell you what they did wrong with console-y.
Okay.
They made it so you can play, because I think it's playable.
No, really, don't.
It didn't do anything.
My phone's ringing.
Yeah, but it's okay. We could have just...
What a hipster answering phones.
No, I didn't want to answer that because that was a bill collector.
You heard it here first. He is dodging bill collectors.
My father was a tailor. But you know what?
What?
For like the nudists in Family Guy.
Oh,
My father was a tailor.
weirdo! My dad's a tailor.
But so what they did is,
Go to
because
North
I'm pretty
Carolina,
sure it
by
comes
the way.
out to console as well. But they made
TikTok.
everything the equivalent of 2 buttons. You
Two
attack.
buttons?
You would 4. You basically would be A is your attack, B is your charge up attack that you can do to stun things and break open things and do more damage.
Yeah.
And let's say L1 is one special ability, L2 is another special ability.
Yeah.
That's it. Let's just say that was it. I don't know that if it is, but
Right.
it's the same thing when you're clicking your thing on the WASD in the mouse.
Yeah.
Because first off, they made you move WASD. They didn't just not just click to move, so that's not bad, but it's very finicky because it's not as fluid.
Yeah.
You're going at 45-degree angles basically. And when you unlock abilities, it's not, I have new abilities. It's I can sub out my, let's say, one of my specials for a different special. I don't get to have both. And it's like there's only X amount of specials in button 1, and button 2 is X amount of specials, but you only can choose between them between missions. and it's like, so you're leveling that up a bit, and it's just they made it so super cartoony, which isn't like in a way that completely opposite of Sacred genre how it was, and it doesn't even play. It's the case of super simplistic in a bad way, where it's kind of like
I want more,
and it's it might as well be on rails because you can, aside from having slight exploration to find these chests that are not.
So they went like mobile game almost.
Yeah, almost, and it's very much like, hey, the guys. Don't you? But they have harking back to Sacred 1 and the other one by these spirits you can get. The one is like a mage, who's supposed to represent the battle mage. The other one is like another dude. But they're done in like a stupid, like quirky, comedic way that never existed in the Sacred genre before. Like you can't just take something which was like the world's gonna get destroyed unless we save it, and turn it into the world's gonna get destroyed unless we save it. But we're gonna have this quirky attitude to it, like. The you could be a seraph, you could be an angel basically, and you can still be in a Sacred 3. But the angel you play, first off, you're playing a specific. It's not even like you're making a character. Like in Diablo 2, you can make Mr. McGuffin hands for Paladin or whatever. You when you pick the class, when you pick the characters, they're already named and have a backstory and everything like that. So
that's not too awful.
No, but they went from Diablo to this, which is fine.
Right.
And then like you have this. One of them has a kid who is like basically she's a telepath, so she can communicate with you whenever during a battle. It's like it's basically giving you like Snake, come in, but only it's not a separate thing. She's just talking and she's saying stuff really in a weird, quirky way and very repetitive.
Awesome,
Yeah, basically, but like very repetitive. And is it bad of a game? No, it's not bad of a game. But if anybody was a fan of the Sacred series or played Sacred 1 and 2. You have you wouldn't nothing transfers.
Right. Just because I was just thinking about the way because the name of the game is called Sacred, but if like someone was like tuning in, it just sounds like you don't call. It sounds like you're not calling it by its name. You're calling the game series Sacred. You don't talk about the Sacred series of I cannot say because it is sacred.
Right, but the Sacred is a game series, and if you played
so sad now.
If you played the first couple
the game is bad.
It's thinking about bills.
If you played the first Sacred games, nothing like aside from it being the same world and there's a seraph. Nothing prepares you for
They really do that?
No, but nothing prepares you for it, and it's very unfortunate. Like they took something that could have been evolve it, and it just made it so bland that it's kind of like
sort of like what they did with the new Dungeon Keeper game.
Yeah. I saw the Francis video on that one.
Yeah.
Now here's a question.
Serious Sam.
Great game. Best game ever.
You were going to ask me about what game is really fun, right?
No.
My bad.
I just have a question. It's just probably not going to go anywhere, but I'm curious to hear what you guys are opinion on. Is Mr. Miyamoto, the leader of Nintendo's gaming company?
How old is he?
He's old. He's not like the president.
Well, he's the leader of the game development.
Right.
How old is
Shigeru Miyamoto is like ageless.
Yes.
Basically.
I think he's in like his. I don't think he's that old. I think he's in like his 60s.
No older than 60. No older than late 60s.
Yeah, he's not that old.
But anyways,
also, he's Japanese, so he ages slow.
But I just feel like if we were to come back, like we would just get resurrected somehow in the year 3245, let's say, it would still be like Mr. Miyamoto is developing. I'm like, wait a minute, what do you mean he's developing?
Turns out he's a robot.
Well, he made an interesting comment recently about casual play and all this other stuff.
Okay, what was his comment?
Well, this whole thing was here. I'll actually pull out the thing.
Yeah,
but
let's get it proper.
Way to not be prepared.
Yeah. But he made an interesting comment that I'm like, do I want to believe what he said, or is it just him
I know what you're
saying,
talking about.
Yes, but I want to get the full quote
I don't know
here.
what he's talking about.
But I'm like, I wonder if he really means it, or if he's just saying it to say it. What's it? Oh yes. While I look this up, anyone hear about the new 3DS that's coming out?
I heard that a new 3DS is coming out, but I don't
system.
know anything about it.
The new games will only play on the new system.
That's how it goes.
You can't play, but they're all under the 3DS title. So it's very much like the DSi. Certain games will only play on the DSi type of thing. It comes with a new. It comes with an extra what they call the C-Stick piece on it. It basically looks like a mini button. Apparently,
Get to the damn.
apparently the purpose of it is for games like Monster Hunter because you need the extra stick.
Not really.
They added some extra buttons to it, and it has a faster processor. And they fixed the 3D issue with it, where before
It didn't.
it didn't. Well, when you 3D'd, the only issue was is if you tilted your head, the whole screen went blurred. The screen now actually adjusts it to follow your angle, so you can hold the
That's
3DS
interesting.
wherever
I'd like
you
to
want.
see how that.
You know,
Because I don't use the 3D on my 3DS.
People
Yeah.
should be more terrified about that, but now it knows where your head is. All right, and then when Skynet takes over, it's just going to go blam, and then
Yeah, exactly. It's going to shoot you right in the head. 'Cause it goes, I recognize head.
Pretty much.
I'm really hoping, like, when Skynet takes over.
Here we
you're
go.
dead because it's going to happen.
Yeah, I've already been killed by something else.
Did you know that they made a successful robot swarm?
Yeah, they've
Robot
made a lot of success.
Swarm?
They made a bunch of
Here we go.
approximately 1,024 little robots that can independently work as a swarm intelligence.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're called
Stop.
kilobots because there's
Kilobot?
like kilobytes,
Right.
kilobots. But that's like one letter off from being
The way you
killbot.
said it sounded like killer bot. So
Yeah.
it's
Well,
like,
it's almost there.
it's like, oh no, they're gonna
Well,
eat my flesh.
not
They're
even
like
that.
this big, and I'm doing hand motion. They're only a couple centimeters big, and they're tiny little adorable things, and
It's
they
like,
make shapes and
Well,
stuff.
past that,
The size he picked is sort of like take like a silver dollar pancake and then like add the amount you would need to make it have it be a square.
but
I found the quote finally.
yeah,
here.
but
what's the
they're
point?
swarming. John Deere is swarming tractors independently, so they have like harvesters doing things their own in a swarm. So that little kilobots is cute and cuddly. John Deere's ready to harvest humanity. Okay, so that's all I gotta say.
I was just, all I have to say is that humanity is friggin' great. We invent the dumbest,
Hey,
like the most.
that's a great thing.
It's a
Ours
great
doesn't work
thing,
on
but
their own,
that,
it's
the
fantastic
moment
to
that
have
turns on us, we're screwed.
That's
But-
why you make sure it doesn't turn on you.
We're
By
all
being
about
nice
good
to it, you make sure you
Give it
the
the
machine
good
spirits.
oil, you know.
Give it the good oil.
Keep
So
it clean.
What is
the cover phrase was Miyamoto says his team doesn't want to cater for those who have a passive interest in gaming, and his quote is, "These are the sort of people who, for example, might want to watch a movie. They might want to go to Disneyland. Their attitude is okay. I am the consumer. You are supposed to entertain me." It's kind of a passive attitude they're taking, and to me, it's kind of a pathetic thing. They do not know how interesting it is for if you move one step further and try to challenge yourself with more advanced games. He then types into, in an age of where Apple and Android smartphones have become the leading gaming platforms for the casual audience, Miyamoto has said that Nintendo no longer needs to reach out to these customers. And he then further says, in these days of the DS and Wii, Nintendo tried its best to expand the gaming population. Fortunately, because of the spread of smart devices and people take games for granted now, it's a good thing for us because we do not have to worry about making games something that are relevant to the general people's daily lives. He essentially is saying he wants to stop making
Right.
games that are casual and focus more on hardcore.
I have two responses. One, I will believe it when I see it,
Thank you.
because that man has been making casual games for forever. Like,
But
that's
The
like, I mean,
entire thing is like
old
the
school
Wii-
Mario isn't casual just because there were
Yeah.
mechanical problems. Like, the reason old school Mario is hard is because those systems only allowed for hard.
Yeah.
But like Wii was not designed, but like the Wii's focus was casual games.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but
they realize
I'm
that's what
talking
their
purely about
demographic was.
Miyamoto. I'm
Yeah.
talking purely about Miyamoto because it wasn't his choice to make the Wii.
Yes.
He's a
Game
content
developer.
not a
Yeah.
not a hardware developer. So I'm just looking at the software that he has created.
Mhm.
None of it is like hardcore gamer stuff, except for like old school Nintendo stuff, and none of that stuff was easy.
Yeah.
There were no easy games on
You know what's-
Nintendo Entertainment
you
System.
know what's weird about the whole idea is like you're either casual or you're hardcore, right? But it's like
Which
as
is
far as
nonsense,
which
if
is
you ask
nonsense.
me.
But the
I'm
thing is,
hardcore when I have time.
yeah, and the thing with
That's-
games, you can have like, tell me like you can't tell me. Let's just take Call of Duty, You can't tell me this is a hardcore game because it's playing it. You can any casual gamer can pick it up, play a bit, put it down. Like what? Even Dark Souls, it's not hardcore. You just have to hate your life when you play it.
Right.
You just
right.
have to hate yourself.
I always
Dark
find it-
Souls is a little less not acceptable.
It's not-
Accessible is
well,
the word I was looking for.
Right, it is. But my point
That's
is,
what makes it somewhat less casual.
now this comes up to a whole stupid philosophical thing that you keep out of gaming, which is the what is casual.
Well, what
Yeah.
bothered me about what he said, not just the I'll believe it when I see it, but what actually bothers me, actually kind of makes me a little mad, is describing casual gamers as pathetic.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, some people have jobs and
Yes.
children and other they need to take care of before they get the chance to sit down and relax and play a video game.
But what is
Those people don't necessarily want to go into a game like Dark Souls where they're going to die 1,000 times in an hour. In fact, they'd rather maybe just do
you must
Darksiders.
be a veteran player if you're only dying 1,000 times in a night.
Right. Maybe they'd rather play a game like Darksiders where they can just hit a button
Right.
and go in a direction and then hit a button a bunch
But
of
now-
times and look awesome and just get it
Now
out of
I
the system.
submit to you for that, and even another game which is even more look awesome at hitting a bunch of buttons, the Arkham series, right? I submit to this. There are hardcore gamers who hardcore those games. So what is hardcore gaming? Like,
Well,
like
it's-
that's hardcore gaming
it's-
isn't what you develop because
It's
people.
an amount of time that you have.
Yeah, it's not like regular
dedicated
Mario,
to the
regular Mario and Nintendo. Casual, but you didn't have the hardcore players going, I'm going to do this run,
Speed
I'm going
run,
to do
yeah.
that
Yeah,
run.
speed
Not
runs.
even just speed run, it's like, I'm going to do the one where I have no power.
Right,
I'm gonna
no
do the run.
mushroom run.
Yeah,
or whatever.
it's just you if you develop a game for hardcore gamers, it's going to appeal to you're not appealing to all hardcore gamers. You're appealing to like
Casual gamers are still going to buy your game.
Yeah.
It's just going to take them a few years to beat it.
But then it's like, but then if you're trying to appeal to hardcore's a whole demographic full of different niches. Like, are you the number crunch hardcore, where it's like, okay, are you like the timing it right like Dark Souls hardcore? Are you the guy who loves to grind and build up things like,
like
Minecraft hardcore?
Or
Now-
like the competitive Pokemon hardcore.
Yeah, like
Now here's a question
The
that
thing is, I'm gonna stop.
Yeah,
you for
let,
a
Okay,
let,
that's
let
fine.
him get his
Go
opinion
ahead.
in.
Yeah,
Please
but
let
like,
him try.
I forgot my opinion now. What he's well, the thing is, Nintendo specifically a decade ago said they're going for casual gamers, but now, as he said, the casual gaming or people that game for like
That
a few
market
minutes,
is-
that market
yeah,
is on
good point.
iOS and on Android and on phones, pretty much.
There's nothing wrong
And
with
it's
that.
it like taking that part of what he's saying is fine. Like he's saying like what we were
Yeah, I'm
catering
not-
to
that's
no
not the
longer
part I have a
is,
problem
is
with.
efficient for us to cater to.
Nobody said that's the problem.
That's not the
Yeah.
problem I have. My problem I have is that
That's
he
how he said
described
it.
those people as
pathetic. When
and they
especially-
don't want, they're not allowing themselves to challenge themselves
Yeah.
with harder. Maybe I have a challenging job. Maybe I have a challenging life.
but-
Maybe I don't want to challenge. when
He's
I'm having
looking at
fun.
specifically like the people that he's like what they were doing for a while. Again, they specifically said they're doing this with. It's like we're going casual, but casual meant to them was making really easy games. There are 2 seconds, pick it up. Who cares if you win or not? You're going to win
Okay.
eventually. And now it's like I want to make challenging games again. I mean, what he said it in a dumb way, but I think what he's trying to say is
I don't blame him for wanting to
our
make challenging
demographic
games.
is change. Well, the demographic we cater to no longer plays on this kind of system. We're going back to making challenging games.
And that's
instead of
fine.
easy games.
That's
more
not the
we
part I'm
fit,
having a
going
problem
back
with.
Yeah,
to-
no, that's not the problem.
The
The
problem
thing
I
is,
have a problem with is the word pathetic.
and also
Yeah.
the thing is that you don't have to like. You have games purpose built to be stupid difficult. Earthworm Jim was built stupid
That was a
difficult,
good game.
but it was great. And even the casual player will pick it up and go, "I can't beat this, but I'm going to try my best at the first
Because it
level."
made sure
only."
it made you fun for you.
But like,
But
like
then there
you
are
don't
games that were
have you
built
don't
to be
have
difficult
to.
that suck.
Yeah, and then you
Yeah,
don't have
well,
the
that's
thing with
just bad
hardcore
gaming.
gaming is you don't have to make a game hardcore. All it implies is you have a game that's got content in it. Look at Half-Life. Half-Life isn't hard, but the game is so good. And even if you're a casual player, you will get through this. You are gonna hate certain
I'm
sections,
garbage at first-person shooters. I got through Half-Life 2 with no cheats.
right? And the thing is, like, you will enjoy this, and you have people who can take any. You can take any game, even the most hardcore game out there, and play it casually. So
Yeah.
all you have to do is not so much.
an approach and an
Like
attitude.
all he has to do is say, "I want to." Oh, wait, he could have
I
said
want to
it
make
better.
more difficult games.
I want to make
Yeah.
a game. I want to make
You're
more
right.
content in the game because it's not even difficulty, more content. Because
Mm.
Party 45 is not this. The content is very much like
I was
paint this wall.
no
I
more
was
Mario
always,
Party games.
I was
please.
always I've always been like wondering about the whole hardcore series myself because I constantly get like when I hear people with feedback talking about hardcore, I get 2 different distinct definitions of hardcore all the time, and usually I'm never fit into any one of them, so everyone says I'm not a hardcore gamer. The first description I ever find is, like you said, people have jobs.
Yeah, people got
So
jobs, they got kids.
I
they
go
got
to at
dogs.
work. I go to work, and my manager's like, oh well, how often do you play games? Like, oh, I play maybe like once every weekend. Oh, so you're not a hardcore gamer? And I'm
So
like,
time.
well, since I don't have your salary, I don't have the free time to play
I don't have
games.
the free time. I don't necessarily have the money to buy new
And
games.
then I have the other side of the spectrum where it's like, oh, the new Call of Duty's coming out. And I'm like, I don't really like Call of Duty. I find them boring. Well, I'm a hardcore gamer, so that's for me. It's like, wait a
Yeah.
minute.
Some people see it as
Playing.
Here's the problem: is it's an attitude thing.
Yeah.
But as a result, different people with different attitudes will
Define it.
assume that I am what is hardcore, and people who are not exactly as I am are not hardcore. When
Yeah.
what are
And
you
you know
talking
what?
about?
And you
There are
know-
plenty of people
and
that
do you
feel that you're not hardcore if you're not playing console, or vice versa, you're not playing on PC.
And
Right,
and
it's
also,
Master
like-
Race and all that.
Yeah.
If
PC Master Race.
Or also, like, again, if
Says
you're
the
not,
man with the iPad.
PC is
broken. Shut
also
up.
if also the sheer fact is sometimes it's if you're not playing the the mainstream game that everyone's playing, then you're not hardcore.
You're
Right,
because you're
which
not-
that's nonsense.
Yeah.
Or if you are playing the mainstream game, you're not
You know,
hardcore.
what? I'm going to
Yeah,
say it
that's
right
fine.
now. If you're only playing mainstream games like Call of Duty, and
Yeah.
you don't play Dark Souls 2 to completion more than once and get a good PvP build, you're not hardcore.
Yeah, but now,
I'm not hardcore. I didn't beat it. I couldn't do it.
but here's the deal. Here's the deal, right? Hardcore used to mean something entirely different, and all these hardcore players forget about it. And
Yeah.
I just
Blizzard
hate the word hardcore.
and Blizzard
Yeah, I
has
do
done
too.
Except
it.
with porn.
Blizzard did it
with porn.
correctly with Diablo. You want to be hardcore? You die, your character's dead. That's hardcore. That's hardcore mode. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
how a lot of older games had a hardcore mode.
Minecraft
one life,
has one too.
Yeah, one life, you die, game
That's
over,
it.
start over.
Was it
That's
Dance
hard-
of the... No.
Crypt of the Necrodancer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
like-
Crypt of the Necrodancer is sort of like that, but you get the power-ups that stick around.
Yeah, but
And
no,
then,
there's
like-
actually the hardcore mode. You're not allowed to have any power.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you
I didn't
have
know
2
that.
lives
But, like,
go.
Yeah.
They're
That's great.
like games have a hardcore mode. That and all. If you want to get technical, that's hardcore gaming. Hardcore
Yeah.
mode.
The old school roguelikes.
Yeah.
That was just the only mode they
And then there are
had.
games that were terrible, like the Silver Surfer game, which it seems hardcore, but it's just so bad.
You're not hardcore unless you beat Superman 64.
You're not hardcore unless you beat Battletoads on multiplayer.
Okay, the difference is Battletoads was good.
No, on multiplayer. I know it's good.
The Superman 64 was so bad.
Yeah, but
Oh god, it was so, have you played it?
I
Yeah.
know it's really bad.
One where the health of the city was your health bar.
No, that one was it was one of the Superman movie
No,
games.
no.
Superman
64 was
you
the
have
one
to-
where you
you
had
have
to fly
save
through
the world,
rings.
save-
Yeah.
fly through rings.
Half the game is flying through rings to get to your next mission.
The only
But
game,
it was the flying mechanic was
Was
just
horrible.
floaty and garbage.
and also like that's all you had
The
to
flying
do.
mechanic is sort of like when you have to pee, but you're really drunk and you've been up all night having sex.
Yeah,
You have no control over where it's going.
and also after you
And
fly
we
through
broke 'em.
something,
That
after
was a
you
fantastic metaphor.
after
there.
you fly
I
through
think
the
we put it
rings,
to everyone perfectly that way.
You just
after you
spraying
fly through
everywhere.
rings, you have these stupid. They're basically challenges that if you don't do it right, you just gotta start over. And, do the
And you
challenge.
almost always have to start over from the rings.
Yeah. So like it's really
So-
bad. The only other game I will put on the same plateau as Superman, like Superman 64 is on like that's the pinnacle of bad game, right? The other game I put on that plateau with it is Sonic 06. Because Sonic 06 is programmed
Sonic 06 was
so
No,
bad.
Correction, which one was Sonic 06?
The bad one?
It came out in
Well,
2006, so it's the one that came out in 2006.
Is that the one where they tried to bring it back to the 2D platform?
No. Sonic 06 is the one that was just built as Sonic the Hedgehog. That's all it was
It's-
called. It came
it's
out in
the one that
2006. It's
made-
3D. It's the one that like why is Final Fantasy settings in Sonic? Why is Sonic talking to real people?
It's
Like,
the one that made John Tron leave Game Grumps.
Yeah.
Which,
It's the one. If you don't know
what
it,
system was it on?
What was out in 2006?
Xbox and something else.
Okay, because
But,
I can't remember this
But
one.
it's
Yeah, because it's bad. You probably didn't
it's
play
good.
it.
You probably didn't play it.
Oh, I
Here's the-
never played it.
Here's the deal: the Mach speed sections show you how bad it is. If you run into a wall, like Mach speed is you can't control this. You just go forward. But
Right.
normally in Mach speed games, if I run into something, just bounce back so I can fix it. Sonic 6 is like, nope. Why don't you keep going? Why don't? Oh, you have no rings. Why don't you? Oh, you're dead. I'm so sorry.
It was so bad. And it was full of bugs.
It was full of bugs to the point where you could fall through stages. Loading screens had loading screens.
Loading
All right,
screens had
there's a
loading
hub
screens.
world. You go into a hub world, you want to do a side quest. You do a side quest, it loads the one sentence thing the guy says of like, you have to collect 50 rings, let's say. Loading screen. Again. There was a loading screen just for that 5 seconds of comment, and then loading screen again for the game.
It was one of the worst games ever made.
And you know what the biggest problem with it is, aside from the fact that it was a bit rushed, is that in all actuality, every character that plays is a different mechanic. So there's 11 different mechanics in total for gameplay. So they had to try and
Sorta
make
like
11
that
different
Dreamcast
games to
one.
play.
Which is cool
No,
conceptually.
the Dreamcast one basically is broken down to 3. It's always
Yeah,
been
but
3,
I'm just saying,
mirrored.
sort of like
yeah, but
that.
they went like, you know what was really
worse.
cool when we had those multiple gameplays. Cool, so we'll have well, Knuckles isn't really a thing. He kind of is. He is.
He's in it, but
he's briefly in it.
He's like the Proto Man.
Yeah, so we'll have this guy be a clone of this, and this guy be no.
They all need
Contraire, mon frère. It's going to be everybody's different. That's a lot of coding.
And
When's
then
it
you
got to
had-
come out?
what was-
Tomorrow. Oh my god! And it's just like,
What was the one with telekinesis?
oh, Silver,
Silver.
the
Thank
one
you.
with the pot leaf head.
Yeah, the main villain.
He's not even a main villain. He's more of a.
Yeah, he was the main villain in the Sonic storyline, wasn't he?
Kribam.
Excuse me.
We're
We're
working
talking
here.
to you.
We're
like
working
actively talking to you.
We're working here.
One of the villain hedgehogs who is playable. His main mechanic was that he had telekinesis.
And it was
Okay.
So you could float around. The problem was he had no basic attack. You could only harm things with the telekinesis.
Well, he had a telekinetic, basically a telekinetic pimp slap, but he had to be like, hey.
Right. It was, and it didn't always work.
It'd be up close, and because the hitboxes were
So
terrible.
9 times out of 10, you had to pick up something in the environment and hit your opponents with it,
And-
or pick up an opponent and hit the other opponent. But you run out of telekinesis.
And
Like you have a gauge.
it'll recharge, but you
It
have to stop
recharges,
doing
but-
everything.
Right. So essentially, if you're having trouble with the super floaty telekinesis, or you're in an area where there's nothing around for you to pick up to throw at an enemy, or you just keep running out of telekinesis before you can kill the enemy, you're sitting there unable to do
And here's the deal:
anything.
that telekinetic bar is not. It's not just attack. He has telekinetic flight, also part of that bar. So if you don't let it fully recharge, because they make
You're not
his
getting to
levels,
the next-
they make his levels plateaus where you need to have a full bar. So let's say you just fall, I'm like, yeah, I'm on a roll. No, you just fall down. But so that's the problem. And here's the issue with it: his introductory of that character is always so bad. Like he's destroying 1 million robots and just doing things. You can't do any of that in game. That's not how his mechanics work.
Not a single
This is how
thing,
bad the game is. Sonic has these different abilities. Like, you can call them gems if you want to. Basically, one makes him really tiny, one lets him constantly bounce up. The full mechanic was never fully implemented. He has a bar that's supposed to drain. It just never drains. The mechanic wasn't finished. You have unlimited amounts of these abilities because the game never was finished for the mechanic. So you have this one that's broken where you just have infinite jumps. You can jump out of the hub world to the point where you can jump into space where it just stops coding sky and then fall and die because you just fall out of the game. And then you can just jump through levels that way. So it was so bad. And also the Mach speed sections. Here's the deal with Mach speed. Even when you
Mach being M-A-C-H,
yeah, is
not M-O-C-K.
and
Yes.
it's just not even just in those only levels where you're constantly going forward, you can't stop. It's also in the levels where every time you hit a loop-de-loop, you're not controlling it, it goes automatically like a Mach speed. The problem is, even on a Mach speed runs, when you're doing that, when you have an event that should be scripted, like bouncing across pylons and stuff like that, it'll just miss it, and you have no control because when it does it, it doesn't line you up just right. So you miss where you're supposed to go, and it just flings you off to oblivion, and you have no control of any of what just happened. It just kills you.
It's really bad.
So
It was not a good game.
and then the final level is, well, you know what? Let's ruin the game for people.
I think it's already ruined.
Sonic
It ruined itself.
Sonic dies. He gets blasted. They made it super serial, where Evil Devil's Hedgehog basically does a Hadouken with one-handed Hadouken through Sonic's chest, and he dies.
Seriously?
Dead.
The end of the game, though?
No, he's dead. He's just dead. And now every other character has to basically get a Chaos Emerald to wish him back. Because they made him to Dragon Balls.
Yeah, it's not how Chaos Emeralds work, I thought.
Yeah,
I don't know how they work.
I don't know how you're supposed to chaos control anything anyway.
Well,
Well,
nobody-
Chaos.
You know what?
There is no
They can
control.
use Dragon Balls because Chaos Sonic is Super Saiyan Sonic anyway.
It's true.
Yeah,
That's
well,
true.
he is Super Saiyan, but so you have to do that. But here's the problem: the world's being ripped apart by the super evil, of course. So they have these death balls, literally death balls, and if you touch it, you die, even if you have rings. The problem is you'll be walking, spawns right on top of you, just spawns right. It's not coded. The code is chaos, random thing. So you'll be mid jump where you have no control of the character because there's a Mach section now when it's just jumping, and an orb spawns right in front of you. You're like, well. Couldn't have planned that one. So you die. So you die, and you die, and you die, and you die. And you had to play with every character, even the ones that are terrible, like Amy Rose, who used to have an awesome hammer mechanic that was really fast and fluid, and it's really slow and clunky. Every character dies. You eventually get Sonic back. You do the cool end boss fight, which is kind of cool because you're all Super Sonic, and Silver's Super because they had to include him too, even though there never was any sense that he could do that from the future. And you got Shadow there because everybody loves Shadow. And he's doing his thing. And they're all doing great. And this is how the game ends. And I'm pretty sure I said this before on the podcast. There's a flame that basically is the source of all this problem. And the world is basically over. It's Sonic and the female character he has to save, who has a love interest with Sonic. A human character has a love interest with Sonic, and Sonic is supposed to be Amy's love interest. And Sonic is actually... There's one mission in the game where you have to choose, basically, who do you like. In the game, all the mission is you walk there, go into their portal. Or walk there, go into their portal. That's it. And,
it's like in any movie where it's like people are arguing over who the dog likes most.
Yeah,
like it depends on who he comes to first.
And you know what? You know what effect it has on the game after that? Nothing. It doesn't change a thing. Dialogue, nothing. It's just a random thing you have to do to progress in the game. So then you finish. There's nothing. Creation is basically gone, and there's this flame in this other character. And she's like, the only way we can do things is if we put out the flame, everything comes back, but we'll never meet. None of this would have happened. And Sonic is like,
good.
And Sonic is like, well, we have to restore the world, you know. And she doesn't want. She really likes Sonic, and I'll never have met you. Blah 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 blah. The canon ending for the game, the way the game ends is they blow out the flame, killing the god, reverting everything, so the game never happened. The story of the game is the game never existed.
If only we could actually do that in the real world.
But like, so you just went through all this heartache, and there's plenty of YouTube videos out there. People blind playing Sonic 06 for the first time, just raging not because they're hardcore, like crazy fanatical gamers, but because like I hit the jump button, why did he just die for no reason? Type of deal. And the game ends with the fact that it never happened in the first place. So it's like all you have to do is take game, put directly into a toilet, and that's basically how it happens. and you know, the ending wouldn't have been that bad if the gameplay at any point in the game was good.
Right, if it hadn't been a friggin' nightmare to get to that ending.
Let's say, I forget how many hang glider segments there are for Shadow. Let's say there's 4. Mm-hmm. 3 of the 4, you literally can just let go of the controller and let it, because it goes forward by itself. You don't have to dodge anything. You don't have to dodge boulders. You can clip through them. You don't have to move or shoot anything. You can let it, you win the level by doing nothing. It can just play by itself.
And it looks like we're starting to run out of time here on the podcast. But I want to leave it with a question with everybody.
Okay.
We've been talking, the last thing we kind of talked about was bad games and such like that. So, Fearless Gamers, what's the worst game you've ever played?
Yes.
Or like, in your list, what's number 1? What do you consider the worst game?
You've played, you know.
Yeah, you have to have played it.
Now, we obviously, if you play Superman 64, we know what your answer is. We know what your answer is. But,
oh, it's so bad. Superman 64.
No, don't even have to have done that.
Oh, man, that's a hard question.
It is. I can't answer it now. I can't.
Yeah, I'm going to need some time. Ask me again next week.
Yes, we'll bring it back, and you guys let us know, and we'll bring it all up, and we'll talk about it. Maybe we played it.
And why.
If you put it in the comments, and I can find it, I'll play it.
Yeah.
Oh.
If it's not one of those, it became a $70 cult classic.
Well, yeah, if I can find it for a reasonable price on a console or something that I own, yeah.
Or an emulation, even.
Right.
Now, but like, and
I'll
if you want,
play
I want to put a little bit of icing on the cake.
He's a baker now.
Give us a description as to why a particular event maybe that happened. Like, let's say game equal bad. What was your experience of why it was bad?
Why was it so bad?
Yes, that's also so worst game that you, in your opinion, and why do you think it's the worst game?
Yeah.
So, thank you all for listening on this podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, Fearless Gamers, this is Matt the Vet,
James Wildcard,
Matt the Clown,
Stark,
and Elena here saying, take care.
Have a good one, guys.
Why is you doing that?